Hello everybody, welcome back to another Brood War ladder battle. We're back at it. Doing the old daily dose series, and today we've got Zelot in a 3-game series versus BishOp. Always a fun time watching Zelot and his shenanigans with Zerg. Do love the early game aggression, and this guy is one of the min-maxers that seems to be able to pull off Zerg aggression better than just about anybody else. He has pigeonholed himself a little bit though in the past. I think he needs to work a bit more on long-term plays, on economic play if he wants to reach the real pinnacle of Zerg, in which we've seen already. I mean, Sulky has shown a lot of highly aggressive style, especially in his series versus Snow. He proved that being hyper aggressive and hitting a lot of intricate timings and really understanding the early game is so important for Zerg, but you have to, it only works if you have the threat of late game kind of looming over your opponent as well. They're not only afraid of you in the early game, but they're also afraid of letting you get too far ahead and facing you in that late game. If they can just play very defensive and they know that they'll be fine as long as they survive most of your early game shenanigans without too much of a big deficit. You know, if they're just going to play a little bit safe, they're not going to cut corners or anything, then it can be pretty difficult to win in early game, and you'll probably be losing in most of your late game situations. Most late game situations, especially against the highest echelon of player. Now, BishOp, not exactly the highest echelon of player, but he's somebody that we've got to keep an eye on. He's someone who is in the running. He's like maybe a shiny type of player, maybe like you know, a very strong ladder Terran, somebody who we should definitely keep an eye on. Similar to Speed a couple of years ago, you know, hasn't really reached that highest level yet, but has a lot of potential. And he's going to be opening up with just a very standard build. This is something that I think Zelot is going to be pretty happy to see. This is so standard right now that I'm sure Zelot has a plan against this. He's going to be building quite a few lings, and he's got ling speed on the way. Bringing the lings to the front. It's just 6 lings, but it's going to completely prevent any sort of early move out with these Marines. Not building any Marines at the front right now. He sees the barracks is not ticking away, so has some idea of what's going on behind this. Gonna run in and start to kill one of these Marines. Great job with the block. Excellent, excellent block there. Wow, that was fantastically done by BishOp, cleaning up all of those lings, and now he could actually start to move out. There is the potential for BishOp to move across the map and try to deal a little bit of damage to force some more lings out. But he's actually just going to stay back at home, and I think this is a good choice against someone like Zelot, someone who is this cheesy and who is so aggressive, so hyper aggressive. Okay, he is going to move out. I was going to say, someone this hyper aggressive, they might decide to just build some lings and go all in. And if they catch your Marines out on the map, that's a pretty easy victory. He starts to move across, then turns around and backs up. One single sunken colony was built. I don't think this was forced out of Zelot, because he regularly builds the sunken colony anyway. Now, looking at the drone saturation, he has enough to where this is not going to be an all-in meta play. He's actually got the 3rd base on the way now. We'll see what kind of follow-up he wants to go for. Just for the moment. Oh, great snipe as well. Goes ahead and uses that initial comsat instead of throwing it down in the... It's kind of risky, right? Not scanning the Zerg main to check and see if there's a Hydralisk den on the way. Maybe he got the SCV in there. I actually didn't see. Damn the brown color. It's kind of hard to spot on the mini map sometimes. So we'll go ahead and change that to blue. Red Zerg is a nice color. So we've got these mutas popping out, but kind of a risky play going for. Oh my gosh, this poor medic just running around like crazy. He does scan and sees the Mutalisk popping, has his turrets on the way. These are very, very close to being a little bit late. But it seems like they're going to finish up just in the nick of time. Actually, in the main base, he might be a little bit late. Going to lose that one SCV for sure, I think. This turret's going to end up going down. Oh, he does get the turret. Another turret is on the way, but prioritizing the turrets in the natural. BishOp trying to optimize is actually going to get pulled apart slightly. Start to lose some Marines now in this main base. +1 is about to finish. Range is now done. A little bit easier to push these Mutalisks back now, but Zelot is doing a good job of picking off, isolating some singular turrets, isolating some Marines, picking them off as well. Missile turrets are starting to go down in this main base. There's only one missile turret over the main, and both the missile turrets over these barracks have been gone out. It's a 5 racks play from BishOp, but he's having a hard time dealing with these mutas. I mean, a lot of damage has been done so far. Quite a few turrets have been killed. Not any mutas have died as far as I have heard. Maybe one Mutalisk total. But he's continuing to grow that count. And he's got his third gas up and running now. +1 attack is on the way. He's lowered this count of Marines enough to where it looks like he's going to be able to pick all of these off. He's done a great job. Look at Zelot just controlling this game with the early Mutalisks. Absolutely savaging BishOp's Marine count when he's on 5 racks. He's got so many racks to keep pumping these Marines out, but he's having a really hard time moving out at all. He really does want to move out to create some pressure so that he can rebuild the turrets over this 5 racks, but he hasn't been able to move out just yet because his Marine count's been kept so low. Now, he hasn't lost many SCVs, and he will eventually replenish this Marine count. Gonna go up to a 6 racks and a 7th racks. Whoa! Oh, well, this is very interesting. BishOp is going to go for some sort of really funky timing. This is going to completely ruin his late game. This is a very all-in way to play. Totally. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. What is this? This is a really wild way to play. I really haven't seen this. BishOp going up to so many barracks. His factory is going to be a million years late. Lurker aspect is on the way, but it's not quite done yet. This bio ball is still so small, even though he's building so many Marines. I think he's just going to gather up a whole bunch of Marines behind this and try to come out with just one massive attack. Try to push Zelot back across the map. Oh my god, he's losing so much. The Marines are getting absolutely hammered as they're trying to come up to this wall and deal with this this Mutalisk force. He actually needs to move out. He needs to get out of this position. Building just pure Marine. He actually needs to go ahead and do something with all the units that he's making. He can't just keep making Marines forever and not transition and hope to win this game, because Lurker aspect is just about done. He's going to pull the SCVs and go across the map. Here we go. All of the Marines are moving out now. BishOp really struggling with the Mutalisk play of Zelot. Zelot is so good with this early game control. He's so good at pulling players apart. And BishOp, I mean, he's hardly got any Marines. This is such a small group of medic Marine moving across the map. It's going to be followed up by an insane macro around now. Look at all the Marines coming out. However, lurkers are going to be ready here in just a moment. He's about to make them in the natural. Oh gosh, is he supply blocked or what's going on here? He's not making the lurkers. He starts... What is this? He starts... Overlord sight range. GG. He just taps out. Whoa, that's crazy. What happened in this game? This is absolute madness. Zelot was doing so well. He killed so many Marines in this game. Let's see the timing of exactly when this lurker upgrade finished, because I feel that he definitely could have gotten lurkers out in time to keep this alive. He was focusing so heavily on the Mutalisk control though. You can see he got supply blocked right there. That's a pretty huge supply block. He lost that Overlord right as his lurker upgrade finished and his Hydralisks were popping out. So let's see exactly when he's actually able to make these. He's got the Hydras. The Hydras are actually moving. And he needs to have them back and morphing right now. We don't have anything over at this third base either. He's trying to take a fourth. Pretty insane. It really did feel like Zelot had a huge momentum in this game. But this little supply block actually hurt him so terribly. If he was able to bring these Hydras back to the natural, right as this Overlord pops out, he could have started those 3 lurkers. But instead, he's too busy microing these these Mutalisks against the Marines. This huge wave of Marines heads out, and look at this. He's not building any lurkers. He's still kind of supply block. He can only build potentially 1 lurker at this point. This is the type of moment where you want to start throwing down buildings just so that you can build these lurkers, but he's completely out of time. He's gonna lose these mutas that were rallied up to the front. Seems like Zelot just fell apart to this insane pressure. That is so many barracks. I've never seen anything like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 barracks. 1-1 with how many SCVs? 29 SCVs is all he had. He only had 29 SCVs. This is crazy. Actually crazy. But it ended up working against Zelot. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the cast, is like Zelot likes it when you play standard, right? He saw the front. He likes it when the opponent is just going to play a normal game, because he knows how to abuse those. But when you get kind of freaky, when you get kind of wild, like what BishOp did in this game, it's clear that Zelot is just not quite used to that. He's out of his comfort zone, and he's not going to play or be playing as well. He's kind of wondering what's going on and making some mistakes, losing overlords and missing this lurker timing. Ends up being the death of him. Let's jump into game number 2. What a wacky and wild game number 1. Just in terms of the build order choice from BishOp, pretty insane. Really did throw Zelot for a loop. I would characterize that early game as utter domination from Zelot. With the way he was controlling his mutas and the amount of damage he was able to get, how many Marines and SCVs and turrets he was picking off, he was controlling that game beautifully. But can just see, even with such strong control and the way he was maneuvering his units, seemed to be dominating. But the moment that BishOp came out in force, everything just cracked and fell apart. He was revealed to be very flimsy behind it, and that is Zerg in a nutshell. It's so hard to do everything at the same time. Controlling the mutas is a task, a huge task that requires nearly all of your attention. And, you know, making sure that you have the correct number of overlords, that you've got all your upgrades on the way, you're getting your Hydras into the position that they need to be in, hitting that exact timing with the lurkers to defend against a push like that. It's tough. But genuinely, 3 lurkers and the natural will likely just stop everything as long as he combines it with the mutas. He just has all of those mutas together with the lurkers and a sunken colony. It's very difficult to break through. You generally want 2 sunken colonies though. You want like 1, 2, and then you want a spread of lurkers. It's better to have lurkers stacked if there's going to be irradiates, but if the opponent is coming in at a wide angle and trying to break you with just marines, it's definitely better to have a bit of a spread on your lurkers so that you can get some better angles on your attacks. Try to hit like larger swaths of the marines as they're coming in. Don't allow them to get like a really nice concave on you. If you're all stacked right here and they come in this nice concave, then it's pretty hard for the lurker spines to shoot out and connect with big groups of marines. But if you've got a spread, like as they're running in, the lurker spines are going to be hitting, you know, big chunks of the marines, and they can't really get a good concave on you. They can try to run in and gun down lurkers one by one, but generally they're going to end up getting a little bit stacked, and they're not going to trade super duper well. Now another 6 lings comes out from Zelot. Unfortunately, this SCV ran out and managed to hide itself. He's gonna run in again. Let's see if Bishop's control is as good as it was in the last game. Whoa, terrible control here from Zelot to try and get on top of those marines. Look at him pulling the 3 SCVs immediately once again. You can see he is on top of that action, ready to respond immediately when Zealot moves to attack that front. 6 lings is a little bit scary, but it's quite an investment as well. We go ahead and chase down the SCV now. We've got 5 marines moving out, but only 4 lings back at home, which is not enough. He's gonna have to build a sunken colony. This is all quite painful. Don't want to be building a sunken colony right now. Generally, Zealot just builds this anyway, but it's not optimal. Of course, you'd much rather not build that. He will, of course, will not attack into it. Bishop's not stupid. He's going to back away from that. As soon as he sees it, he knows he's forced enough out of his opponent. He's going to be completely fine. It looks like he's going for a similar build. Maybe not that same exact build as he did last game. That was pretty insane. I don't think he'd do that twice in a row. But maybe on ladder. Might as well just throw it out again. It's possible. He just wants to do it twice in a row. He's practicing it or what have you. Wants to see if or what the adaptation could possibly be from Zealot to make that build not work out for him. Bishop adding on 3 more barracks. Maybe going up to 5 once again. Let's see. Already with the 3, and he's got a small marine medic group out. Will he scan and try to kill the overlord again? Doesn't seem like he will. In fact, he doesn't have either scanner on the way, and so he's just gonna lift off the barracks. This time the overlord's been pulled back. That overlord kill was actually pretty huge in the last game. Killing the overlord right as the mutas are starting to come out. Like, everything is planned out. Everything is very closely, tightly mapped out with a build like this. With any Zerg build, really, against Terran especially. And if you lose a medic or an overlord right as you're supposed to be building your mutas, it gets pretty painful. Ooh, losing a muta on the way out. Only having 5 means he wasn't able to one-shot SCVs, so it wasn't really worth it to do that drive-by, to do that flyby. And, I mean, he did see the 4 racks, but what can he really do about it? Just gonna continue to make mutas. And the Bioforce is out at the front, pretty well grouped up. And then the Mutalisk can't really dive in. They kind of have to deal with this. They kind of have to contest this force. And so Zelot is in a much worse situation in this game than he was in the last. 2 more barracks on the way. He's doing it again, guys. He is going for it once more. The Bishop. 8 racks plus 1/1. Pretty insane to see him do this twice, but he is going to give it another try. Let's see the adaptation from Zelot. He's just about to finish his +1. He's got the 11 mutas. He's not doing as good of a job at reducing this bio count, and he hasn't gotten in to see how many barracks are being added on. Maybe gonna go after the supply depots at the front, jumping on top of some of these rallies as well. Forcing the bio through this tight little corridor, this tight little choke. But it looks like it's going to be driven back. Okay, he's coming on top of these barracks. Sees the number. It's pretty high. Should know to throw down a Hydralisk Den immediately and start those upgrades. 34 SCVs remain. He starts a round of drones. Not what I would expect. There's the Hydra Den and Evolution Chamber. That's what I was looking for. Fresh group of mutas. Gonna be brought to the front now. The bioforces are continuing to spill out. It is currently 7 racks. Not the 8 that Bishop had previously, even though he could absolutely afford it. He's got more workers this game than he did last game. Uh-oh. Some lings being brought forward with the addition of the injured mutas. He's going to be able to break through. These Marines are being pushed all the way back. He may end up losing all of his medics. 1 medic survives. 6 HP. Sorry guys, I still have a bit of a cough here. My wife is feeling very sick. She doesn't have her voice anymore. Can't really talk at the moment. And so we're just all recovering at this point. Kind of hanging out, chilling. Is Zelot gonna be able to break this position? I don't know if this was worth it. Just killed 4 turrets, but you can see that there's not really a follow-up with this. This is just a lot of Marine medic, and as soon as he starts to head across the map, the Marines or the mutas will have to be pulled. They're gonna have to leave. Yeah, he's gonna run forward here, try to catch some of these mutas out in front of his natural. There's a bunch of overlords here as well. Those are gonna be excellent snipes. And okay, Hydra's coming up to fight this as well. I don't know about this dive. Okay, he looks like he'll just barely have enough. Hydra's pushing up to the front. Lurkers are going to be morphed right in front of the face of Bishop, and it seems like he's been pulled to pieces. Pure Marines popping out from him, and they're just going to be dying to these mutas. The control has been immaculate this game, and Bishop is just withering under the Mutalisk control of Zelot. This time he's not going to be able to get away with it. I really do feel like he could have built more racks. He probably could have built a few more barracks in this game. And there it is, GG. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't go for 8 racks again. He had much more money than he did in the last game. He had more SCVs. He had more economy. If he really wanted to go for this play again, why not go to 9 racks? Why don't we just go all in? I mean, we're not building a factory this time. It felt like he kind of blundered there. He kind of slowed down as things were kicking off with the mutas, like running around him and picking off these supply depots and stuff. He just sort of fell apart. He should be able to push out with the Marines. With 8 racks worth of Marines, push out. It's kind of crazy to even say it. Like, usually we'll see Terran players push out with 5 racks. 5 racks is more than enough to push out. Even against a player who's building this many mutas like Zelot, just continuously building mutas, you should be able to push out. At least take a position in the front. so that when the mutas fly in, you can kind of threaten the counterattack. But there's so many overlords out here. If he was able to push out just a little bit further, and if he'd had those bioforces, he could have pushed out, killed all these overlords, you know, got in the rally point, and forced these mutalisks to keep engaging with the big bio ball. I think that's what he wanted, but it just wasn't quite well done enough. A little undercooked here, this build from BishOp. Maybe he can put a little sear on it in the next game. Let's jump into game number 3. See who wins the series. Okay, game number 3. BishOp in the top right. Zelot in the top left. Having some good success there. Being just hyper aggressive. Non-stop Mutalisk control. This time it paid off. But of course, BishOp did have a little bit of a falter. He was faltering a bit with his build. If you want to do something like that, never build a factory and just all in marine, you've got a macro like a god. Can't be having, you know, 900 minerals banked up with not enough racks out. That is for sure. 8 racks going to be played by BishOp in this game. So the Overlord is headed in the right direction to find that, or possibly to die to the Marine that pops out. We'll have to see the timing on this. And barracks is already almost halfway complete. Man, Overlords, they sure are slow. Not wanting to play a similar game to that last one. BishOp trying to mix it up. He might live to regret it, though. Zelot is very good at dealing with these early cheeses. You know, he always likes to build early lings. Not much of a macro player. He always builds those 6 lings. He likes to get the early sunken colony out as well. Oh boy. This Overlord is in a ton of trouble. Marines build super fast. Maybe he can get over this, but this is still high ground, guys, so you can still see over that. Oh god, he's kind of waffling. He's gonna go for this the gap over here. Try to get over the water. Look at his little monkey butt there. He's got like the little orangutan booty. He's in heat. Come on, Overlord, you can do it, buddy. Oof. That's painful. First Overlord goes down. Gonna have to pull the drones on this one. That is for sure. Overlord about to pop. He's getting gas. He's mining 3 on gas and 2 on minerals. I really can't understand the thought behind that. Maybe he just wants to get speed as quickly as possible, then pull off the gas. It looks like he did pull off the gas in the main. 1 drone goes down. 2 drones go down. The control here, not the greatest from our Zerg player. 4 drones now. 5. Okay, like every drone has fallen now. This is just about over. 4 lings pop out, but you can kind of play keep away with the Marines. Oh, he's going to try and run by. Let's see if he can get past this. Oh, he's going to get through. Very well done. Now he can get to the other side and start to harass any Marines that are coming across the map. He's actually lifted the barracks. He can make a run over here, try to get on top of all this. However, back at home, a few Marines are going to walk forward. Let's see if he can get the SCV. SCV kill is big. Get another SCV kill. He does get the other SCV. That's huge. Oh, the lings came back. He was thinking about surrounding this. He's going to just build pure lings. Oh, man. Bunker back at home. Look at all the SCVs that have been pulled. He knows that he's going to get counterattacked. A ton of lings are coming across the map right now. All that BishOp needs to do with his 18 workers to 6, he just needs to survive. Gonna build a 3rd supply depot in the wall. A very smart, prudent maneuver by BishOp. You know, you'd love to get that CC down a little faster, but it's all about survival at this point. Just staying alive, #1 priority. And so having the wall set up like this, oof. That is deadly. This is a perfectly ling tight wall, and we're still building lings. There's 3 Marines in the bunker. He's just gonna try and break this. He is a madman. An absolute mad lad. Building only lings. Praying for the best. He's at 18 of 18. He has to go. Not gonna be able to build an Overlord and hope to win this one. He's going after the barracks. That has the most surface area. This supply depot, also a lot of surface area on that. However, with 3 SCVs repairing, there's not a lot of hope of breaking through there. And still having enough lings remaining to actually win this game. He's trying to dive forward. He can build another supply depot going after the SCVs. He's running in now. Gonna try and get into this main base. How many lings are gonna get up onto this high ground? He manages to get 5 lings into the main. Is it gonna be enough? Another supply depot starts in that wall. That might just be the nail in the coffin because he's only building lings behind this, guys. There's not really any hope of a follow-up from Zelot. He's just gonna try and hit this from behind, I guess. Oh my god, this is so crazy. Going after that supply depot again, but there's the SCV on the outside this time, hitting that. He's gonna try and make this run by, but BishOp, ever strong with his SCV control, is gonna completely block this. And yeah, that last ling will fall. These lings in the main, really the last hope, the last struggling breath of Zelot. He finally taps out. GG. Pretty crazy series overall, but that's what we expect out of Zelot. He's always gonna give us some pretty interesting, wild games. BishOp played this one out well. He won the series overall, although I felt like he was getting dominated. I felt like Zelot may have, you know, had one over on him. He may have been a little bit stronger than him with the Mutalisk versus Marine control. He definitely seemed superior in that, but BishOp, a little bit crafty, has some tricks up his sleeve as well. The 8 Rex was a good choice. The control with the Marines and SCVs in each game was very good, especially with this 8 Rex. Able to fend off those lings and fend off those drones and get maximum damage. Generally, when you're going to be building that many lings, and with the way that Zelot was playing, I'm surprised he didn't just pull his drones back. Because you're going to be making a ton of lings, and you're going to have ling speed very quickly. So what is the purpose of fighting with the drones? I mean, if you can kill all the Marines with the drones and not lose anything, then great, but you're not really mining much back at home, and you're banking on lings, or building a whole bunch of lings with that quick ling speed. So I don't really get it. I think that was a bit of a blunder. You can see that occasionally Zelot does get a little bit tilted in his games. He does get a little bit lost as to where he's actually at and what he should be doing. It happens to everyone. It happens to the best of them. But everybody except for Solkey, of course. Solkey, he always seems to know exactly what to do in every situation. What's the highest possibility for a win in any and all situations. That's his superpower. Zelot definitely needing to work on that. Handling 8 Rex, I thought he was better, honestly, at handling 8 Rex. I've seen him handle some 8 Rexes pretty darn well in the past, but that one was not very well done, and BishOp takes this one away. I want to see more games out of BishOp with the 8 Rex. Not the... I need to think of another name for the build. Not an 8 Rex that we just saw, but like the 8 Rax build, where he builds 8 Raxes. I don't know what I'll call that, but maybe that's gonna be Crazy Terran. We'll we'll call that Crazy Terran. Never build a science, never build a factory. Don't even bother with a science facility or anything like that. Just mass Marine all the way and just try to bowl him over before he gets into Lurker. Kind of a wacky build. I don't know if it would work against any stronger players, but I'll be on the lookout for this guy in the future, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's been your Daily Dose, and I'll see you tomorrow.